Hello, welcome back. This is the third video from Japan. In this video we go to a Tajima calf sale. Pretty interesting, and I'll explain what's going on there, and then we follow through the process of registering heifers for mating with Wagyu Japan, I think it is, or JA Agriculture. So interesting stuff. Follow along and you might learn something. Right, we're here in the auction. I'll try and explain what's going on. I think I've got my head around it. It's very orderly, not like New Zealand auctions, so pretty cool. I'll flick you around. So the calves come in from the right. So this one here is being sold at the moment, number 157, 207 kilos. 109 is the, I think like the girth of it, and then it is a heifer. So then everyone just bids with a little button on their seat. We've got a card in there that registers that seat to their farm, or their account. So you see the yen going up there, so that's currently 415,000 yen. I'll put a conversion down here when I edit this. So 450,000 yen is what that calf sold for. So this one here, number 158, 262 kilos. It's a heifer, and it is 112 centimetres girth. Bidding slowing down. $792,000 yen. Yeah, I think there's 300 in this sale. They're all coming individually, so it goes on for a long time. I think they said 4 or 5 hours, and then once they're sold, they come out here, get lined up, and then the buyers take them away to their individual trucks, I think. Another thing to note is these are all Tajima breed, so within the Hyogo province of Kobe, and these ones are actually making money at the moment. There's ones that they call Kangai, which is from outside the province, and they're not a Tajima, so they don't get the same kind of top price. But they're not making money at the moment. Yeah, so Japanese beef industry is really struggling. Japanese beef industry is really struggling at the moment, just with low prices. So the farm that I'm staying at is, they have about 70% Kangai and only 20-30% of the Tajima. So only 30% of their animals are making money, 70% are losing money. So things are tough. The big costs for them are all import costs, so all the feed comes from the States or Canada. Pretty much everything's imported, so feed prices and feed security is the biggest issue for them at the moment. As you guess, be the same for most people in this room. So this one's a steer, or a castrated one. 265 kilos, 114 is girth. They've got all the genetics in the book too, so historic genetics from the mother. 1,000 yen. So Yuki, guy that I'm here with, was just saying that a lot of the beef markets over here, they forecast out kind of 2 years. They look at what big programs are happening in the next 2 years or what events, and that's what causes the prime price, the final price to jump. So these guys are all buying with the hope that the price will jump 2 years when they sell everything off. It's pretty dedicated kind of market. Yeah, and then over here, that white screen you see, I'll try and zoom in, I don't know if I will, but it's all the feed that these calves have been eating. So the feed that they've been eating, the company it came from, so like the corn and barley and wheat, soybean meal, whatever else they eat, as well as the straw, so either wheat straw or Timothy hay or Italian hay. Yeah, so they lay it all out on the table when you buy them. There's no there's no one going in blind. So this one here is steer, 260 kilos, 910,000 yen. So once the calves are sold, they go out here, and I just noticed that some of them are getting tagged, and they're using all flex taggers. So this is outside. Once they're sold, come here, get their tag or change over to the new owner, and then get loaded on the trucks, like these wee ones here. There's no big stock trucks like in New Zealand. They're all kind of small, 2-axle. Seems like each farm has their own wee truck. So then these are all the calves waiting to go in to get sold. So we've still got a fair few to sell.
Oh, pretty good. すごくないですかこれ? Jeez. That one high end fell.
Not quite over the fence.
That was impressive. Ooh.
And this is just for Tajima, or is this for everything? They were just starting the registration process, so try to find out some details. But there's some strict criteria, so it's either after conception for females or between 19 and 29 months at age for the males. It is for both. So it is for both kind of breeds, Tajima and Kengai.
基本的にメスは14から29の間にしていただくってことです。
So the cows we're talking about before, 14 to 29th month, that's for the female. And for male, that there's another time window, but we're not going to be doing that today.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's either, or is it, so you've got to tick both of those criteria. So between 14 and 29 months old, and they have to be pregnant.
He said or.
Or.
あとそのじゃあ両方の条件を渡さないとダメですよね。その14から29プラス羽つく。
基本的にはそうですね。それが親になる条件になってきます。
Yeah, and that's the condition to become a mother.
じゃあ
両方しなければ。
普通大体20まあ今はちょっと早い13ぐらいから。
So there's their measuring tools that they'll use, I'm guessing, but we'll find out. So meat ones only need registration at birth or just after birth. These ones are registering because they're going to become mothers. So it's pretty cool what they're doing actually. It's they put ink on their nose and then take like a fingerprint. See on some of the registration thing that we looked at for the genetics of that cow, it had that print on it.
Yeah,
had that print on it, so it's like a fingerprint for a cow. It just takes it off their nose. Pretty fascinating.
they take it once. They take the test once when they're calves. They're just seeing if it's consistent, seeing if it's the same one.
Oh, yeah, making sure you're not shirking the system.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Wow, yeah. We need one of my channel sponsors is a cattle handling crush. You put an animal in, put it in a head bale, hold it nice and tight, nice and firm, squeeze the sides in so they're, yeah, that's what you need for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, Tapari Lenta crush,
Lenta.
cattle crush
Cattle crush?
would be perfect for this. Yeah. So that doesn't have year on it though, does it?
Oh, so
14.
see how it says 4.
Yeah.
This is you know how we go by eras here. So 4th year. So this is it's Reiwa era now, and now we're in the 5th Reiwa era. So this is 4. So last year.
Right.
So
That's this year.
yeah.
That's next year.
No, 5 is this year.
5 is this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Right.
Maybe it's traditional.
Yep. So for the 14 animals we've got here, this is a sheet. So it's got birth date, conception date, and pregnancy or calving date, essentially. And then a unique code on the right hand side there, and then the symbols are Tajima, and then the ones that are blank are Kangai. It works on a Japanese calendar, not the normal calendar that we deal with, so it's a bit confusing. Yep. They're still out there taking nose prints. So on this farm, I don't know if it's standard practice, but when they do the registration, they use a green halter for the Tajima ones and a kind of blue-purple halter for the Kangai. It's just to make sure that everything gets identified and kept track of easier. So they're nearly done, the first part of this process.
122.6。
これやってるんですか？これやってるんですか？田島っていうか神戸だけですか？あと全国で？
これ日本全国。
あ、日本全国。でこれ田島じゃなくて県外。
県外43。43。
YouTube を撮影されてますね。
171。
Brace, you know, so when they do open the borders, they can not only can find a Wagyu.
I wouldn't, from my point of view, you wouldn't, if you were going to this much work, you wouldn't open the borders. Because you've spent, since when they shut the borders, 90s, you've spent the last 30 years doing this to get the perfect animal, in their opinion, fits into their box. Why would you open it and give that genetics to somebody else?
Right.
I don't see it ever opening, like, yeah.
But it gives more value to the domestic cow.
Oh, it definitely does, yeah, and that's how they try and retain the value within Japan rather than give it to everyone else. So
I'm surprised that it's not only Corbett. You know, I thought all cows are that.
So we're going through the measuring processes at the moment. So they do the height off the ground, they do the length, so from shoulder to rump. They do some the girth around the chest, and they also do some measurements of hip bone placement. There's quite another few measurements they do there as well. One thing that really struck me, as we were just discussing it before, that so they're registered at birth and they go through and they check a whole bunch of these different criteria. So teat placement, colour. I don't actually know the actual criteria, but then they say that as calves they can reject some that so they cannot be used as a breeder, and then they just have to go into the beef program, the meat program, and then once again, now that these are pregnant and they've got all that information, they're testing them again, and then they can reject them again. So it's like they have to fit into the box of certain criteria, which fascinates me. It's completely different. So you own the animal, but they control whether you can breed it or not. So different. But and this process is not just Kobe, it's not just Tajima, or it's every beef animal regardless of breed across Japan. And then I asked the question of whether they had this type of program for their dairy sector, and he said yes there are, but it's different. They don't know the specs criteria. So this is the beef team, not the dairy team. So yeah, fascinating, and it continues. We're still not finished yet.
131.4 加藤錦135高いっすねこれ。ちょっと目線前測りますわ。OK。151.4。150点。あ、50.4。150.4。はい。151あったんですか。151.4。
This will be a big one. So this is the final part of the whole grading system, as they go through and they just feel, so they're feeling skin, looking at conformation, feeling udders, feeling for tenderness, they said, and then they kind of bring everything together and make a score. So that one just got 81.1. So it's very tight tolerances, so it's like anything. 79 to 83 is the range of 79, not that great, 83 is excellent, or 82 is excellent, something like that. So yeah, very, very foreign. Quite an interesting, very interesting concept. Yeah, and they've obviously got the rest of these to go, so I don't know if any have failed. I don't think they said, well, they didn't say, they said none have failed once they get to this age group, so they all weed out the ones that calves as calves. They won't think will register as mothers. So, and then once they're all finished the grading process, they come back into the barn and continue to eat. You go, matey. That one's keen to go back. Oh, yep.
これが
So this is their fingerprint.
Yeah.
で生まれた時に検査を4ヶ月以内生ま
So
れて
within
生後
4 months of the calf being born, they have to take the first test.
Yeah.
でさっき言ってた乳首が3本とかひっついてるとか
And at that
色がお
point,
かしいってなると
you know, they try to
これじゃないやつ
qualify the cow, you know, see if it's within the expected.
で正常な牛って判断されたら
And if it's considered
この
healthy,
登記証明書子牛登記証明書が
then the calf can
Calf
can be placed on this registration.
でこれがまあいかに血統書
Hi.
になる犬とか馬とかのサラブレッドとかの血統書
And is officially placed in the bloodline.
Right.
でこれがまあ子牛の時の鼻紋
So this is the print from when she was a calf,
Oh, yeah.
and this is today's here.
これが今さっき撮った鼻紋
It's bigger, but it's identical.
They match.
Yeah.
変わらない、ここの
Hi.
分かりやすいのがここの
See
ちょ
that
っとこう
symbol here?
丸くなってるところ
Hi. 特徴です。
ここが
Oh, there we go.
これ
すごいですね。From the nose, yeah.
これが、まあ、一応人間でいうと種紋
はい
で牛でいうと尾毛、これは大きくなっても変わらない、で耳に辞表、
はい
B-
You know the tag on the
BSE 以降に辞表がついたんですけど、
BSE
牛海面脳症って言って、
はい
脳みそが溶ける病気、牛の病気が
あー
10年ちょっと前
So
に
it's
日
kind
本
of a
で
disease,
はい
you know, that was prevalent in Japan 10 years ago where the brain would kind of melt. Yeah.
そう動物性のなんかね、動物性タンパクでなった病気、
Due to high
なんていうの
protein intake.
BSE 僕ら BSE って言う
It's called BSE.
Yep.
そう脳みそがスポンジ状にな
Yeah,
る
the brain
病
kind of becomes like a sponge.
Yep.
Yeah.
気に
They call it mad
これが
mad cow disease.
耳の番号、
And this is the その脳のやつ
そうそれ以降それがあって
あー
牛がどこに行ったかとか分かるように
そう
黄色いタグがついたんやけど、
So due to that event, they decided to install the code, unique code,
Oh yeah.
and that unique code is here.
ただ
Yeah.
こ
So
れ
they started
は
this recently, eh?
外れることもある。
But sometimes, you know, like it can come off.
Yeah.
でどっちも外れた時に
So if the tags from both ears come
そう
off,
どっちってなってもこれだけは
You've always got
変わら
you
ない
always have this.
そう
Yeah, the nose print. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So what was that called? BS
BSE という
BSC.
BSE.
BSC.
So that was kind of the catalyst for all of this. それは10年前とかこれはもう10年前から導入されたってことですね。
そうそうそうそう
Interesting. I thought they always had that.
生まれたらこの番号を取ってつけるけど、その時一斉装着したんです、もともとはついてなくてけどこれが流行ったからつけようってなった時にはもうすでにお母さんの牛は
Yeah.
その時からつけたって
あ
でこれ調べたら牛トレーサビリティ
So there's the BSC he
あ
was
ると
talking about.
電動
traceability.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have it in New Zealand.
ニュージーランドにはそれないみたい
ない
ですね。
We don't want it.
日本でももう長らく発生してないんですけど
In Japan, we haven't had it for a
こ
while.
れが一つの原因が
one reason.
動物性の飼料
Yeah, it's the feed.
Can't known as mad cow disease. They've got it in Europe.
ヨーロッパにもあるみたいですね。
あ
Makes them like freak out and fall over and
ちょっと
yeah.
転んだり。
はいそうそうそう
Yeah.
That's the thing that would destroy New Zealand egg
まあ
industry.
それはもう
Is
ニュージー
that
ランドの産業をなんか崩すような病気だから、それはもう厳しく入んないようにしてみたいですね。ニュージ
日
ーランドの
本
政府。
も今も厳しくしてる
It's
けど
very strict too.
まあ
Yeah,
昔
yeah,
は
yeah.
餌に動物性タンパク
Back then, you know, the animal protein that was in the feeds.
Yeah.
そう餌の中にまあお肉のくずとかが入ってまあそれが原
Like
因って
bits
言わ
of
れ
meat,
て
for
て
example. Yeah, they identified that was the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
今は牛の餌に
Instead, now they use.
A 飼料 B 飼料って書かれてるの知らないですか袋に
見たことあるかもしれないですね。
それが A は牛に与える牛とか豚とかそういうの
So
を与
they
えるけど
denote the feed by like A and B. A
そ
is
れ
for
は
cows
植
and
物
pigs.
植物由来オンリー
And that means that it's used like plant-based basically.
yeah, yeah,
で
yeah.
B は
for B, that
魚
denotes
の餌とかああいうちょっとこう餌に使えるようなのが B で
魚のものが使ってる。
魚の餌
あ、right, so that's fish food,
そうそうそう
basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Two types of food.
yeah.
でも牛はもう牛とか豚とか家畜は A 飼料だけ
A だけです。
そうそうそう
So we've got to declare that none of our animals are being fed with
Usually
ruminant protein,
なんか
which
こう
is
他のなんていうのこう余計なプロテインを入ってるかどうかを確認しなければならない前もって
yeah,
餌が
which is the same sort of thing.
なのでまあ似たような
でそうそう
形。Since when?
Oh, forever,
まあ
I
もう
can my
昔から
my
昔
lifetime.
そうみたいでしたね
Yeah.
彼の40年前からでも
So they're nearly finished. We just had an interesting discussion about why they do the nose print, and it's because of BSC, so mad cow disease. They had that in Japan about 10 years ago, and if an animal loses an ear tag, there's no way to record, what it's had, where it's come from, all that kind of stuff. So with the nose print, they've always got that record because it's of one of a kind. Yeah, so it's starting to make a wee bit more sense now between why everything is the way it is. It's still very strict, but yeah, pretty cool process. So three of the guys were from the Wagyu registration kind of association here in Japan. So that's what they've got to do to register Wagyu right the way through. And then the guy in the white coat was from JA, which is Japan Agriculture, kind of like our Ministry for Agriculture and Fisheries and stuff. So yeah, pretty sure they all passed, which was a pretty good result. And yeah, they've all got their wee certificates and their kind of bloodlines and everything, and now they can have their calf and that can be registered and the cycle continues. Just before we finish this video, I'd like to put a big thanks out to everyone who helped me out in Japan. So Yuki, who I stayed with, and then he helped me translate everything. I couldn't have done it without him. And then the team from the Takumi Kobe beef farms. Just amazing experience. Pretty surreal really when I'm looking back now, being back in New Zealand for a couple of weeks and editing this. So pretty cool experience. Great to get off the tourist trails and into rural Japan. Amazing people, friendly, welcoming, warm, and just keen to learn about New Zealand as well. So if you haven't watched the first 2 videos, go back, have a look. Pretty interesting, and we'll get back to normal New Zealand farming in the next video.